entrepreneurs, are you trying to make bigger profits in your small business? Like many of us, I'm sure you're feeling it. Business is hard, and now more than ever, you need to have a plan to help your business not just survive, but thrive. I'm Marcia She. I'm a profit and business strategist on a mission. I've helped tons of small business owners to establish and implement a tangible plan that guarantees increased profitability and guide your growth. I want to share those strategies that I've earned and learned with you on today's Profit with a Plan podcast. But before we get started, I have something to share with all of my listeners. I've put together 6 easy tips to implement that will help you improve your profitability right now. Go pick those up on my website at Trajectory, TRAJECTORY, biz, that's biz.com. All right, I'm super excited to have my guest on with me today, Dr. Nadia Brown. Dr. Nadia is a sales strategist, consultant, trainer, and the founder of Doeni Agency, a sales agency who works with business owners, companies, and corporations to multiply revenue and awaken the consistent closer within your sales team using the consistent sales method. My goodness, this is exactly what we need. Nadia brings over 15 years of experience in leadership, powerful conversations, achieving goals, and respect for people to develop a comprehensive sales process to increase closing rates and satisfied client retention. Nadia's clients have seen massive results, such as raising their rates, decreasing their refund requests, and doubling or tripling their annual revenues, including helping one client increase their annual revenue by, 800%? Oh my goodness, that's amazing. Dr. Nadia, welcome to Profit with a Plan podcast. We are so excited to have you here.
Thank you for having me. I'm so excited to be here.
Yes. So, wow, you've got quite a bit of experience. You're a doctor. That means you're like way up here on the knowledge level, skill set level, and education time in. What brought you into sales? What was that thing that brought you there?
Funny story. When it comes to sales, I actually didn't like sales. So
who does?
When I started my business, I was mostly focused on women in leadership positions and that whole piece. And I was just excited about the work that I got to do with my clients. Not thinking that, hello, you're a business owner now, you need to, be focused on sales. And so it was through that process of starting and failing, of just not having a full grasp on sales and then making a commitment to getting better at it just for my own sake. But then in that process, been able to help others. And I was like, oh, okay, here we are. And then I have friends that were like, you can't just take this and keep it all to yourself. Like, we need you to help us. And so that's the story behind the sales agency and how we got to be here.
That's amazing. I don't know anybody that truly loves sales. Well, no, I know one person and he's a little kooky. But, sales is such I guess we all put our own little chirp in our head and make sales really this like bad thing. Mm-hmm. And it's not, right?
Mm-hmm. It's really not.
Serving.
It's not only serving, but what I found is just connecting. Like you're speaking with people. A lot of us, especially in the small business world these days, we're leveraging a lot of inbound marketing tech strategies. And so people are raising their hands to connect with us to see if we can help them. And when we take all the gremlins out of the conversation and just really focus on coming from that place of service and being able to, I look at it as an interview. A sales conversation is an interview between two parties to see, is this a good fit? And, should we move forward at this stage and working together? And then when you take it from that standpoint, it becomes a lot less scary.
Yeah, we all need to get out of that scary role because sales is scary. I think am I feeling too pushy? Can I handle the no? We all have these stories that are going on chirping in our head that get in our way. How do we get out of that? How do we you mentioned that we come together and it's an interview, but then that kind of feels a little stressful. If you've ever interviewed for a job, you're like best behavior and, saying all the right canned things. That's not really what it is at all, is it?
It's not. It's really about, like you said, we talked about coming from a place of service. I know when I teach clients, I say, you know what, put your investigative, reporter hat on, like come to the call with a true sense of curiosity. I want to get to know you. I want to get to know your goals as it relates to whatever my offer may be, and how I can support you. I think one of the big things is we make it about us. Our ego does kind of get in the way. Like you said, we're worried about if we'll be rejected. Will they say yes? Will they say no? And we have to find a way to put that to the side so that we can be fully present. I think that's a gift that we give our prospects and future clients when we can show up to that call fully present, to really listen to them, listen to what they're saying, what they're not saying. And then again, if it's a good fit, inviting them to take that next step with us.
Great. Okay. So you have a consistent sales method. Give me some meat on that. What does that mean? And how do we get consistent sales, right? Isn't that the challenge? So we're not up and down and up and down craziness.
Yes. One of the ways
I've experienced all this, by the way.
Me too, like 2 hands up, definitely been there, right? One of the ways is by getting support. I think one of the challenges that we have is we try to wear all the hats. And in the beginning, sometimes we have to, we don't have the revenue to support making a different decision. But if you don't have the bandwidth anymore to be able to make sure that someone is staying connected, is continuing to nurture and build relationship and have a focus on sales, because as you know, what happens is we do all this activity, marketing, sales and marketing to get the clients in. We get the clients and we're at a place where we're good. We serve the clients and then we're done. And we wake up one day and we're like, oh crap, I haven't done the sales and marketing thing to get the clients. And now my bank account is looking crazy. And so if you're not doing
singing my song,
right, it's the roller coaster, like, oh my gosh. You have to have someone that is there to help you, that is going to continue to have the reach out. If there's going to be focused on the relationship, there's going to be getting those people primed and ready to when you open the doors, because sometimes you may not have something that's ongoing. Some of us do, some of us don't. So really looking at your business and what that sales pipeline looks like, and then either leveraging automation and or people to make sure that continues to happen. And that also frees you up to serve at your highest.
That's awesome. And you know what? I think people forget that there are before, during, and after that needs to be touched. And if we get into that rat race of chasing more clients and putting out fires and handling them, and then chasing more clients and putting out fires and handling the customers, we forget that, that's how you get that roller coaster. It has to be that consistent. So talk to me. I have a question. So coming from someone who really doesn't like to sell, I'm awesome at relationships and delivering and all that kind of stuff, but I it's just that awkward thing. What do you think about hiring somebody to do the selling for you? I mean, I've heard both sides of it. What are your thoughts on that?
I highly recommend it. I recommend it. And I've been on both sides. I've been like, well, maybe you should, be at least have some level of comfort. And I think you should, just in case something ever happens to that person.
We do. It's that thing of not wanting to do it. So if I don't want to do it, I don't do it as often. And if there's somebody that likes that stuff, is able to do it for me, then that frees me up to be able to focus on the other things. So that's where I'm at right now, is looking at hiring a salesperson.
Absolutely. No, but then I was going to add, on the flip side, I think sometimes as business owners, we sometimes do ourselves a disservice when we focus so much on the things that we, like you said, either dislike, it's not our strength. And part of being a business owner is you get to hire people that are better than you in areas in your business, right? Yes. That is a choice you get to make as the CEO. And so definitely hiring someone that is good at sales, that has that strength. I think one of the first things you should do, though, is really decide what type of salesperson that you need. Sometimes we only think of, I remember I was talking with a colleague a few weeks ago, and I was like, you need to hire a salesperson. And she's like, but I'm good at closing. I was like, then don't hire a closer, right? You can hire a different type of salesperson and still be the closer and still get support in your business. And so being really clear on what type of salesperson you need is going to go a long way in helping you on that path.
That's a good point that I didn't really think about, because you could hire the person. Well, first of all, let's figure out how many stages of the sale there really are, but you could hire a person to do just the follow-up
Mm-hmm.
or just the initial cold call to get the appointment to you, right?
Mm-hmm.
Ah, that's an
Yep.
amazing one.
I have
Okay,
a
so
client right now. We are literally in the process of hiring a salesperson to do the relationship management, basically. So she leverages a lot of Facebook, her Facebook group, and that's a big piece of it. And we have this big hole that I identified. I was like, girlfriend, we got to fix this. And so we're bringing
right.
someone in that can greet people in the Facebook group, that can really stay on track of that can start to build those relationships and nurture them based on the questions. People have Facebook groups and they have questions. What do you do with the answers? So someone that can, follow up based on what people say they want, and then lead them to that next stage, which then could be a sales call or it could be an online program. But we noticed that there was a gap, and that's what that person gets to do. And then if they are ready for a sales call for a higher level program, then they would get moved over to the actual closer. So again, it really depends on your business and what that stage looks like.
That's fantastic, because the thing that I heard, that triggered me in the front part of that is that we're so engulfed in our business that sometimes we can't see the gaps that we're dealing with. So
Mm-hmm.
having someone like yourself to be able to come in and go, oh, you have a hole here and a hole there, and just these little tweaks will fix those holes for you, and you didn't even know you had them in the first place. So that's a really big aha that I know people aren't realizing. But
Mm-hmm.
so let's go back to how many hats do you have to wear in the sales stage?
Depending on your business, you have that person that could be I like to call them your relationship manager, because they're really that person that, is shaking hands, getting to know people, building those relationships, but also getting to know where people go. They can sometimes also serve as your appointment setter, because once they have that relationship and they know, they can like, okay, you know what? Now you need to talk to this person, and they can schedule that appointment.
Is that up front or is that somewhere in the middle? Where would that person be in
Depending
the?
depending on how you have your business set up, they could be on the front, and they could also be in the middle or on the back end, because as you mentioned, once and you may have experienced this, I hope not, but I know it's happened and it's not intentional. There's a lot of love and a lot of attention on the front end, and then you're
Yeah.
in the program and then you're like, where did everyone go? Right. So having someone to then, and sometimes those people are called account managers, because now you're in and they're managing the account, but it's a similar role. They're checking in, making sure everything's okay. Are you receiving the service that you're expecting? But they're also keeping an eye and an ear open to see, is there another way that we may be able to serve you either now or in the future? So if you have your business set up where there may be tiers and people can be enrolled in a higher level or a next level program, that person is really there to help manage that and keep an eye and an ear open for that.
That's fantastic. Okay, so now I've heard three. There's the closer, there's the
Mm-hmm.
nurturer, and then there's the account manager, right?
Mm-hmm.
What
Mm-hmm.
other roles are involved in sales?
You could have your business development person. And so
Okay.
that is going to be more if you're leveraging more of a cold call type of business model. So that person
Yes.
is out
You
there
saw the
going,
sweat start to come,
right?
right?
You're like, oh my God, right? Cold calls, cold sweat. But some of us do. Some people really do leverage that type of model. And so that's that person's job, is either they're out knocking on doors, literally or figuratively. They're maybe leveraging things like LinkedIn. They're doing the research. They're really trying to identify who those people are and get a foot in the door to start to build brand awareness, and then also start to build that relationship. And then from there, depending on how you have your pipeline stages set up, then once they get to a certain point, they can move them into that next stage, which could be, depending on who your target market is, it could be when you come in as a business owner and then you start to do those discovery conversations to really better understand the scope, and then your sales presentation. So sometimes those are leveraged more with when you're going to larger companies versus just going to maybe B2C. So it really just depends on how your business is set up.
or the
What
dollar value of the offer
Mhm.
that you're providing or the service level that you're providing. I like
Yep.
this.
Yep. So
I
yeah,
like this.
definitely when you start talking 6 and 7 figures, you're also sometimes now talking about multiple conversations, multiple decision makers. Like it can get really complicated. So not everyone has a sales pipeline that is that complicated, but it could be. And you just
It
want to
could
think
be.
about it. It's not a bad thing. It's just, okay, here's where I am, and here are the different stages that I need to have set up, and different people that can fill those roles.
I love it. I love it. So this is doing a double thing for us. If you feel it, or you're following along with us, we're talking about the roles involved and the stages as well of the sales process. So the person that comes in and builds the relationship, the person that comes in and does the discovery for it, the person that comes in and closes them, could be all the same person.
Mm-hmm.
Then you've got the person that nurtures them or manages them afterwards. Or what about the last step? Or the first step they didn't buy yet, but now they need to be nurtured more to get them into it, like they weren't ready yet. It wasn't a
Mm-hmm.
solid no, I'm calling the police on you. It was a not now, or
Right.
you didn't solve my problem yet, or you haven't convinced me. So, I mean,
Mm-hmm.
it seems like there's a full spectrum of people and tasks that are involved in the sales process. And
Yes.
I like how we're putting jobs to that. So
Yes.
you don't have to be the ugly part if you don't want to be the ugly part,
You
whatever that
don't have
ugly
to
part is.
be, right? You don't have to be. And you can leverage technology and automation for some of those different tasks. But I
Yeah.
think one of the big things, going back to your question, is one of the challenges is a lot of times as business owners, we don't know. We just know I need a salesperson. And then
I
you go
need
out and I need them
business.
like yesterday. And then you bring them in, and then you're upset or disappointed because you lack the clarity and what their specific role is. And I say this all the time, not all salespeople are created equal. And not that
Mm,
they're bad, but someone that's really, really good in business development may flounder as a closer. It's rare that you can find someone that can manage all of those and manage it well. And then honestly, as your business grows, you don't want them to. Like, you really want your closer focusing on closing, and your business development person out there focusing on generating those leads, and your relationship person like really spending the time in that role, because as it grows, they're going to have more people to work with. And
mm.
as it happens to us as a business owner, if their time and attention is split, that's where you see the impact to their performance.
Ooh, so true. So true. And the business owner at the early ages is probably trying to do it all, plus, their management, and plus their marketing, plus their, the
The
delivery of the
IT.
product, the IT, the whole crazy stuff. So as I'm thinking that this is probably, most people say, oh, I'm going to go get a virtual assistant as their first hire to do, you know, um, a manager, or not managerial, but like tasks.
Mm-hmm.
In my mind, I'm thinking your first hire is the person to help you grow the business more. And that's your salesperson.
Yep.
And whatever of the 5 roles or 6 roles that they perfectly fit into. But I think that's your first hire.
I
What are your
agree. If
thoughts?
you could get 1 or 2 salespeople on your team to help you bring in the revenue, then you can hire the talent that you can hire a higher quality caliber talent. Because how many of us have been like, oh, I want to hire somebody, but I can't afford to hire who I really want to hire? You
Right?
can make different decisions. You can do your forecasting when you have the revenue. And one of the
Mm.
challenges when we first start is we don't have enough revenue to really help to get that momentum to get us there faster, because we don't have support. And if you had a salesperson or two there, they're out there bringing in those deals. Like, I have clients that they don't know anything until they see the money coming in. They're like, oh, well, we have a new client. I have agreements coming in, I have money coming in. It's a great feeling, right? To
Mm.
know that there's someone else out there helping you shoulder that, and it's not all on you.
I like that. I like that. So what are some really, I was going to say some good characteristics that, well, I don't even think that that's it, because I think there are different roles and so on in there. But let me hit you with the hard thing. What do you pay a salesperson? Right?
Everyone
If
wants to pay salespeople 100% commission, right?
Oh,
It
sure,
depends.
no,
It
because
depends on
then I
skill
can't run the
level.
business, right?
It depends on a couple different things. One, not all salespeople are motivated by commissions. Believe it or not, there are some really good ones out there that they're just like, if they don't have to worry about the pressure of closing the sale, actually perform better. And I know that that's like, what? But
I
it's
know,
true.
right?
So one, I think you need to understand the skill level based on which role they're in, because there are different roles. There are also ways. So I personally like to do salary plus commission or some type of bonus. I really want to incentivize my sales team, but I also don't want them, especially in the beginning, to just be 100% commission. And sometimes it
Fail.
takes a while to just get things going. So you want to, at least be able to live, or survive while you're learning the business, building your book of business, building your pipeline, building those relationships. Like sometimes those things take time. So you also have to, again, look at your business, your budget, but then also what stages that they're going to be operating in. And then, base it on that. So, but I personally am definitely a base salary plus commission type of girl, or some type of bonus as well. And it doesn't have to be a percentage. It could be a flat rate. Like if they bring in this, then they get this. It really depends. And I think sometimes I just recently had someone say, hire a salesperson and they're 100% commission. I'm like, I don't think that that's how I want to run my
Well,
business.
it just doesn't run. It doesn't make sense if I'm giving them 100% of their base is going to be commission. I was thinking,
Yeah, 100.
if they sell $1,000 item and I give them $1,000, then how did I earn money? So that didn't work. So, but 100% of the percentage that they get, their compensation.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And I think that goes back to understanding your business and knowing what your budget is, what your profit margin is, and how this person can elevate that investment that you're making. Mm-hmm. I have a piece in my strategy that I call strategic spending. Every dollar that you spend going out has to produce an income. This is a perfect example of that. Yes. Because you're investing in someone who's bringing in more business. And if you pay them 50 cents on the dollar, whatever it is, just as an example, you're making 50% more of what you would have never made, and that's a powerful spend.
Powerful. Not only that, Marcia, but don't underestimate the amount of time. Like this is time that you get back that you're not on discovery calls or strategy sessions or whatever we call it. Like you're not that person. You get to go do something else. And that is huge that we undervalue, even especially when we're thinking about hiring our sales team.
Yeah, because that's it. When I think the number one of the top 2 or 3 things that business owners face is the lack of time. Mm-hmm. And so if you can peel off that section, which is a full-time job in itself,
it really is.
You're now doubling yourself.
Mm-hmm.
You've got 2 of you hitting the business at the same, strength and power. And instead of 24 hours in the day, you now have 48 hours in the day.
Mm-hmm. Totally.
Loving this. This is great stuff. Okay. So we have talked about the sales process and the people that are doing the actions in it, instead of just the traditional, go make a phone call, build a relationship. I mean, those are common things that we all know you should be doing. But I love this conversation because we're really pulling apart the sales process. Mm-hmm. And so your program that you talk about in having those consistent opportunities and that consistent sales, when we're doing it, what's the magic? What's the real magic in getting those consistent sales?
I think the real magic I think there's 2 things. One, we have to take the time to think about it. We're doers. We're always in it. And we never take the time to take a step back and be like, okay, here are the things that I need to, have in place. And then the second piece is to systematize it. Whether, again, like I said, whether you bring in a salesperson or you just leverage automation that is continuing to open the doors to conversation, build brand awareness. Like there are things, but what happens is we do all the things that we need to do to get to a certain revenue level. We put our heads down, we stop doing those things. And then we work with our clients and then we come back up and it's like crap. And so we need to have a system that leverages either technology and or people to really make sure that those things are consistent around our brand awareness, nurturing and building those relationships with our leads and prospects. Like you said, people that haven't said yes yet. What is our process for that? What's the system? When are we going to follow up with them? What does that look like? Because a no today doesn't mean a no forever. But a lot of times we just don't follow up. Either we got upset and got in our feelings and threw the baby out with the bathwater. That happens. Or we just literally forgot. It's like, oh my gosh, I forgot. Now it's 6 months later and I didn't call Marcia back and she really was ready 3 months ago. So you really need to think about that. So create a system that's going to support you and your business goals to help you achieve your sales. And so thinking about that, because a lot of there's so much focus on getting new leads, which is important. But there's also a lot of people that we've already connected with that are already in our communities that are already interested, but they just haven't said yes yet, that a lot of us neglect. And then we also a lot of times neglect our former clients who could still benefit from working with us, or it's time for them to come back and we haven't talked to them either.
Yeah, I love that. I think that's the foundation is you put it so simply, know where you want to go and then put plan and system in place that will allow you and whoever you bring on to do the same thing without dropping the ball, right? I mean, talk about simplicity. It's overwhelming to the business owner to put all this together alone, but it can be rather simple if you have somebody to help and support you. So I think that this is the juicy stuff that we all need, because 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, you got to sleep, right? How can you do everything in your business? You need help. And this is a perfect opportunity for you to farm out some of the things that maybe you shouldn't be doing to those people and act like a CEO and give them the exact steps and strategy they need to take to achieve success for you and themselves.
And bonus tip for those that are thinking about it, because if you're already doing it, record yourself doing it, start to document it, whatever that looks like. Whether it's recording your sales calls, if it's documenting, creating templates of the emails and follow-ups and things that you do. That way, when you're ready to hire, you at least have the bones of an SOP and you can say, all right, Nadia, or whomever that person is, here you go. Here's how we do things in my company. And they can pick up the ball and run with it. It shortens the learning curve and it lessens your frustration with their performance.
No kidding. Wow. Juicy stuff. I love the bonus. That was perfect, because it's a big thing to take on, a big fear. And for so many of us, we're so into doing the business that we don't have time to work on the business and step out, which is one of both of our, strengths, is we can help them work on the business. But I think that's really, really good advice to start taking those little steps now and start recording and documenting. And hey, here's a stream of emails. Let me just put it in this file, even though it says to John Doe, and it already went out, but I got them in a file that someone else can clean up. Here's my virtual assistant, can clean up a little bit later and make it a form or a framework on it. So good stuff.
One of the biggest challenges around hiring is people I don't have the time to train them or properly onboard them. And if you can start just documenting your way of doing things now, and as you're naturally doing them, it helps to lessen that overwhelm when you're ready to hire.
So true. And I was on a call last week and they said, you should never be overwhelmed or underwhelmed. It's called managing the whelm, which sounded so awkward, but that's it. It's finding that nice, sweet spot that you're feeling good, you're feeling confident. And as most business owners, we're overwhelmed because of the task that we're trying to do, whether it's us or us and a few, it's still so important to manage that. So this is awesome, Dr. Nadia. I'm loving this. So okay. Where can listeners find out more about you and your program?
Well, we have a free gift, a resource, especially for those that already have a sales team. you can head over to winsalesflatline.com. And there's a
That's
calendar for sales leaders to, so with some ideas and tips and strategies on how to re-energize and refocus their sales teams. You can also visit our website at thedoyenagency.com. And you can find us on social media at I am Dr. Nadia.
Love it. Love it. All that information will be placed in the podcast notes for listeners as well. I encourage you go pick up that the calendar and the work that she's offering for us. And this is the place you need to spend time. Mm-hmm. This really is the thing that's going to shift your business and take you to that next level. Whether it's your first million, your 5th million, your 10 million, this is the spot that is going to make the biggest impact in your business. So why aren't you focusing on it? Love it. Okay, thank you so much, listeners. I hope you found an idea or two to put into your business that will help you become more profitable. I think this is it. It's a secret. And again, now more than ever, you need to have your own profit plan and build that out strong. Don't forget to pick up my 6 tips to help you improve your profitability right now. You can go pick those up at my website at trajectorybiz.com. As always, Dr. Nadia and I would love to hear any of your questions or feedback on the show, or even give us some ideas. We'd love to hear those as well. So please subscribe and comment now on today's podcast. And as always, you can catch Profit with a Plan on any of your favorite podcast players. And we're looking forward to more great profitable information on next week's show. So until then, make your plans and profit with them. Thanks, Nadia.
Thank you.